Introducing the Ultimate Boxing Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything boxing. From electrifying fight previews to in-depth interviews with the legends of the ring, we break down the biggest bouts round by round. Get inside the minds of the fighters, hear their stories, and feel the intensity of their training. Whether you're a hardcore fan or just starting out, our podcast has got you covered. Stay updated with the latest news, rivalries, and predictions. Tune in and feel the adrenaline, the passion, the raw power of boxing. Boxing is about perseverance, pushing through every challenge. It's the spirit of hard work and dedication that defines a true champion. So what are you waiting for? Like, follow, and subscribe to the Unprofessional Experts podcast. Stay tuned for more exciting updates. Without boxing, nothing in the world means anything.
Because they're just incredible fighters. But I find it sickening that after a lifetime of hard work, Dmitry Bivol is not undisputed champion tonight. He won that fight. I struggled to find anybody on our road, a row behind, on the TV rows, who didn't score the fight to Dmitry Bivol.
Welcome back, fight fans. Per usual, this is the Unprofessional Experts podcast. I am JMC, featuring Davo. He's off camera today. He's going to run the questions. We're going to talk about all the recent activities in the sport of boxing, fresh off of last night's robbery of Dmitry Bivol, in my opinion. But before we get to that, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, get your pets, sit down and stream this episode. Share with a friend, aunts, grandparents, whoever. Go ahead, check us out, the Unprofessional Experts podcast, streaming everywhere.
So let's go straight into it. Last night, Dmitry Bivol took a loss to Beterbiev. What are we thinking about that decision? I mean, I know how I feel about it. How you feel about it?
The big homie, Dmitry Bivol. If you've been following the pod, then you know I was pulling for Bivol by decision. Beterbiev, in my opinion, was going to be a step too slow.
Oh, and by the way, who did I have winning this fight?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You had the homie Beterbiev, but
the big homie.
In this glorious sport of boxing that we so-called love, you got upsets and what I would call bad decisions. I won't go so far as to call it a robbery because it was close, but I will be comfortable in saying a bad decision. I thought Dmitry Bivol boxed well. I thought he handled Beterbiev's power. You know what you're getting in him. He's old school. He's coming straight forward. He's strong. He's rushing. I thought Bivol boxed well. He moved. He used the ring. He handled his power. He was never hurt. I don't see – he even landed more punches in the fight, CompuBox. Punch stats, I just don't know what the judges were thinking. There was a judge that had it 8-4 Beterbiev. He was drunk or blind and or both. There's no way.
I actually agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, you know what? To be honest, when the fight ended, I thought Bivol won.
To be honest, I didn't feel that I was losing control all the fight, to be honest. I felt like everything under control. Even when he was pressuring a lot, I was trying to get these punches. I saw it. Sometimes I was, he landed some punches, but most of them I was, in boxing, if you are aggressive, you could pay judges with this. Of course, this is boxing. It's one of the philosophy of boxing. Yeah, if you're showing aggressive, the judges could pay this.
Absolutely,
I did. I mean, if I'm being honest about it, I really thought that they were going to give him the decision because, I mean, like you were just saying, he spent most of the fight moving, boxing, and throwing combinations. But it depends on how you're judging the fight. Because Beterbiev was the one who was stepping forward, applying pressure. And it was a few times where he actually looked like the pressure was affecting Bivol. It was effective pressure. So I don't know. It just kind of depends on how you want to score that fight.
He applied his pressure late, more so in the championship rounds. And so I don't think that should just take away from all the early work that Bivol put in. Beterbiev hasn't had too many people stand up to his pressure?
Man, because I'm looking at Bivol, I'm like, damn, he's standing right there.
He's right there, toe to toe.
Toe to toe with him.
He didn't get wobbled. He didn't get buzzed.
He's like, this dude 40. I'm standing right here. It's no problem.
He was there to box.
He was there.
And I'm a fan of Bivol. Ever since, he surprised, shocked the world with the Canelo victory. I'm like, man, this guy can box. I like his style. In and out, light on his feet. He can punch. He can get out the way. He doesn't stay there too long. He gets his points and he gets out. And so I really like Dmitry Bivol. And I went right to the comment section after the fight. Robbery, what a shame. Boxing is dead. Who did this to Bivol? Eddie Hearn, what a shame. It's disgusting. That judge should never judge in the sport of boxing again. Harsh comments from his promoter and Eddie Hearn. But run it back, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they should. That's definitely a fight that I would like to see them do again. And maybe this time the decision will be a lot clearer as to who actually won this fight. But if I had to choose, now I said Beterbiev was going to win. But if I had to, I would say that I think Bivol probably inched out that fight last night.
I think without question, Bivol won that fight. I think the Beterbiev fans, they got a gift with this one. It happens to the greats. Sometimes you get a gift, and I think Beterbiev got his gift. He'll have to tighten up. The second time around, have to make sure that he lands some more cleaner, effective punches. He came on just a little bit too late. He's going to want to start there early. And to be honest, Bivol can just do more of the same, if you ask me. I don't think he will knock out Beterbiev, but if he can just be a little bit more on his toes, throw a few more punches, don't let Beterbiev steal rounds late, don't fade out late, don't let Beterbiev come on in the championship rounds, then Bivol can seal the deal in the rematch. But good scrap. It didn't live up to legendary expectations like we were looking for.
Yeah, it was it was a bit of a letdown in that regard. Didn't live up to the whole mega fight hype, but it was a good fight. I mean, two tactical skill guys, and sometimes you're gonna get that with high level boxing.
Good scrap. I saw that Dmitry Bivol's ex-wife was happy that he lost.
Oh wow!
Wow. They got some beef there. She was pulling for Beterbiev, so she was happy. I don't know what that situation was. I just know it's not good if your ex-wife was wanting you to lose. But with that being said, man, I'm still rooting for Bivol. I think he's the guy to beat in that division, the light heavyweight division in boxing. And I would say either fighter beats David Benavidez.
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not 100% sure about that. Especially, I mean, you say what you want about Beterbiev. He's just he's a rock, man. Pause. He's like that, man. I mean, he's hard for anybody to deal with. But overall, man, I thought it was a really good card last night, man. Any other fights you want to talk about on that card last night?
Who cares about that? The guy got wrestled over the top rope.
Ben Whitaker.
Yeah, that was weird. When I don't know, they went full WWE style for a moment there.
Yeah, they did.
Fight ends in a draw. I'm not a big Ben Whitaker fan. It's kind of flashy, but other than that, no, there's not a whole lot to talk about from that card. They robbed my boy, and so on to the next one. Forget that card.
On to the next one. Speaking of the next, man, what's next for one of the brightest stars in heavyweight boxing, Anthony Joshua, man? What's the future looking like for Anthony Joshua?
I wouldn't say one of the brightest stars. If so, that star has flamed out officially because Dynamite Daniel Dubois made sure of that. He laid hands on Anthony Joshua. He did it in such a way to where it changed the landscape of the division. Anthony Joshua, he doesn't have the type of chin that you need as a heavyweight champion. And he got hurt early. He never bounced back. He clipped Dubois and went for the kill. Ended up getting murdered. Yeah. As he laid there trying to get up, but his legs wouldn't let him.
Oh, man. And
I think the craziest part about all of that, as Joshua was getting, the beat down, the cameraman is on Big Turk, his excellence. And he's doing Get the camera off of me.
It wasn't supposed to happen like this.
It was not. And so Big Turk was obviously mad. He didn't want the cameraman on him as Anthony Joshua was getting the beat down.
Yeah, because Anthony Joshua, that's the cash cow, right? That's the guy that you want to keep winning. You want to keep making these heavyweight fights with. I mean, he's the draw, right? Not you know what I mean? He's the draw. So, but yeah, in my opinion, Anthony Joshua is not an elite boxer. He's not an elite heavyweight
anymore.
He's not that anymore. And I think, most likely what needs to happen is, he might take a fight or two, here in the next, year or so, but he needs to probably start thinking about winding his career down and figure out what else he's going to do for a living.
I don't think he should start. I think that should be option number one. He should be like, hey, I don't know if he's got a wife and kids at home. I'm sure his wife was crying when he saw her, like, hey, babe, let's try not to get beat up like that. But, it's boxing, so it happens, right?
It's boxing. It's the fight game. It happens. Everybody gets beat up, right?
I can only imagine how dramatic my wife would have been had that happened to me. I'd had to give her a day or two before we even talked. But saying that, shout out Dynamite Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, man, he's been looking good. And he probably beat Usyk as well.
I was about to bring that up because he's not hellified, but he's strong.
He's strong.
No Diddy.
He's strong. He can crack.
And Usyk, that body shot to Usyk was out. He was hurt, and they ruled it a low blow. So you could be talking about undisputed heavyweight champ right now. If that turns into a knockout against Usyk, and then he comes around, wins a couple fights, and he fights Joshua. You're talking about potentially the best heavyweight in the world. And so Dubois is no slouch, right? So no disrespect to Joshua in his career. Just we have seen his chin fail him before. And so it's happened again.
Yeah, his chin continues to fail him. And it's probably not, I don't know what do you even do about that?
Right. Like I wouldn't even want to see him. Like people were saying the Wilder fight is still on the table, the Fury fight is still on the table, and I don't want to see either because I think both of those guys can hit hard enough to where you can see Anthony Joshua flop around the ring like a fish again.
Yeah, because both of those guys are gonna test that chin out.
You know what I mean? That equilibrium ever since Ruiz, it's just been off. And so, man, shout out to Anthony Joshua. Shout out to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom. They made what can be labeled as a legendary career, but you got to know when to call it quits.
Yeah.
You got to know when to be like, hey, my body's not reacting the way that it used to. And I think that's currently what we're dealing with, Anthony Joshua. And so if he decided to call it quits, I don't think anybody would be upset at that. If he continues to keep fighting, I think now you're contemplating like, all right, is this guy going to end up with CTE or something? Like, does he need to?
Right. And that brings that. So I have a question. Do you think fighters should go into concussion protocol? Like that should be a thing in boxing, concussion protocol, or is that just part of boxing?
It is part of boxing. It wouldn't hurt. I mean, everybody would be in it all the time because you probably get a concussion every time you get in that ring. So it would potentially hamper the sport, but make it safer at the same time. And so what do you prefer? Do you want the brutalness? Do you want the damage being done? It's what the entertainment value is all about. Or do you want these guys to be safe and fight another day? So it just depends on what you watch.
It's like, can we figure out a way to have both?
Yeah. Good fights without CTE in the end, who knows? But Anthony Joshua, for me, he can hang him up, but if he doesn't, I hope he's very careful in his matchmaking. I hope Eddie doesn't just line him up in there with another big puncher, just for him to get folded up. And as I'm saying folded up, what you want to do is check out this segment here, folding chair activity. Man, try your best to not get folded up the way that Anthony Joshua did. Check this out.
Damn, he got folded like a lawn chair.
Ouch!
keep your hands up.
All right. So in the past, you've been accused of being a hater. I don't know how you feel about that. You know, I can't speak to it, but since you've been accused of being a hater, we're just gonna go ahead and call you a hater. And we're trying to find out who you hating on today. It's a new segment we're introducing. We're gonna find out who JMC is hating on today. Who you hating on today? Who you hating on today, my guy?
All right, so this needs to be talked about because this is not okay, and I am a hater, and I'm okay with hating on certain people in certain situations. We're too nice, and some people just need to be hated on. So let me get that out there. Let that be known. In certain situations, it's okay to hate. And right now, I'm hating on the Haneys. Yes, the Haneys, Bill and Devin. Devin Haney is suing Ryan Garcia essentially for getting his ass beat. And that shouldn't happen in the sport of boxing. And I commented on it as soon as I seen this, and I was like, man, I'm thinking of a Nipsey Hussle line. I'm like, who raised dude? Who raised cuz? And the comments were like, Bill did. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense. So I'm hating on Bill Haney because he's questionable himself. Man, he talks more than Devin does.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the beef with Bill? What did Bill say? What did he do?
Bill's a clown. He talks way too much. He supports all this patty cake behavior coming from Devin Haney, all this jellyback activity coming from Devin soft as hell Haney. And I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. You get your ass beat, you get your ass beat. You don't take it to the courtroom and decide that you want to get judges and attorneys involved on a loss. He's already said he doesn't want to run it back.
Well, hold on though. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, because did he or did he not get caught, Ryan Garcia? Did he or not get caught on the juice?
He popped dirty. He did, and I don't like that. It shouldn't be in the sport of boxing. The sport of boxing should do something about that.
So, with that being said, if you would have got your ass beat the way Devin Haney got his ass beat by Ryan Garcia, real bad. But wait, this guy's on the juice. This guy's taking stuff. I mean, how would you feel about that, and what would you do about that?
We're gonna run it back. When Cotto found out, Margarito's gloves were laced, he didn't cry about it. He didn't say, "Oh, I'll never fight him again." You know what I mean? Like, he handled business, right? He got back in the ring. He didn't sulk about it. His dad didn't get on the internet crying, "Oh, you could have hurt my baby." No, none of that happened, right? He went on and continued to have a legendary Hall of Fame career. And what's worse than fighting a guy with loaded gloves, right? It's equivalent to cement. Miguel Cotto, he took it on the chin, he lost, he got right back in the ring, right? You're supposed to handle yourself like a champion, and that's what Devin didn't do. He's patty cake. And so I'm hating on this patty cake activity that we are allowing, that Devin's father, Bill, is allowing. He's backing this foolishness. I don't like it. Why has he not been back in the ring? Why is he taking interviews? Why is he not sharpening his craft, getting back in the ring, getting stronger, bulking up, and proving that he is still who they think he is? Why? Because he's not. So I'm hating on the Haneys, the whole generation, the bloodline of the Haneys. I'm mad at y'all. I don't like what you did. No, all disrespect to Ryan Garcia for popping dirty. That shouldn't be allowed in the sport that we love.
Yeah, because because let's not give him a pass, because he's definitely been on one.
Right.
I mean, not only with the popping dirty, but he's been popping his mouth as well.
He's a clown.
He's a clown. He's for sure a clown. So,
Now, I saw the interview with Andre Ward, and Andre Ward is talking around it. Devin's like, no, my game plan wasn't bad. I don't need to change my trainers. And I felt like Andre failed to keep it real with Devin. The game plan was terrible. Right? We need to adjust the training tactics. You can't go in chin first and not expect to get clipped by a guy who has a left hook. He's known for this left hook.
Yeah, the game plan should have, number one, been stay away from this left hook.
Stay away from this left hook, right? The first one buzzed Devin, and it was downhill from there.
It was all the way downhill.
And so, like I said, in certain situations, hate is acceptable. I'm hating on Bill and Devin until Devin gets back in the ring and he straightens all this out so that we forget about these lawsuits and the fact that he actually has a loss on his record that has now been taken away because he appealed. All this activity that I don't like it.
That the OGs wouldn't have done, huh?
No, they never did
that
this.
The greats wouldn't have done, huh?
Not at all. So Devin's questionable. I'm hating on him and his dad.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, a whole lot of hate being thrown toward the Haney's way. I mean, I can kind of see it. I can understand it. Yeah, but you know what? Hopefully Devin Haney can get in the ring again and have a good showing and kind of put this whole thing behind him pretty soon, and we won't be hating on him no more. Because I do think that Devin Haney he's a good fighter. Like, he's a really good young fighter. But yeah, he got to get away from all this soft activity he's been going on. I agree with that.
Too many antics. Let's keep it in the ring.
So we got a fantasy matchup. All right. So seeing how we have a new undisputed light heavyweight champion, Artur Beterbiev. Man, how you think he would do against somebody else who was great at the light heavyweight division? Somebody else who was the last undisputed light heavyweight champion, Roy Jones Jr.
The great
Captain Hook.
The all-time, I feel like if you were to make a comparison, right? Like compare him to another player in another sport. When I talk about freak athleticism, I feel like Roy Jones is like the Russell Westbrook of boxing. Just the athleticism just off the charts. It was different and hadn't been seen before. The activity, the motor. It was exciting to watch. He was different. He came to fight. And so I'm a big Russell Westbrook fan, by the way. So
clearly, random Russell Westbrook reference. I got it.
Shout out to big homie Russell.
Mr. Triple Double.
But I feel like Roy Jones, late 90s, early 2000s, through that decade and so on, the athleticism. He'd go play a football game and then a boxing match later, and charity football game. Hands behind his back, the taunting. I mentioned this on the last episode. One of the better rap careers that
that a boxer's ever had, for sure.
Because a lot of the athletes in their rap careers are absolutely terrible. But Roy's wasn't that bad. And it get some playback.
And the shoes were good as well.
Oh, the boots, the Jordan boots.
Yeah,
man.
The Jordan boxing shoes.
Top tier. I had a pair, the gray and black pair. Man, shout out those Jordan boxing boots. Roy Jones Jr., one of the greats, one of the legends. So with all that being said, I do have Artur Beterbiev by knockout.
Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. Because I really did not expect for you to say that. So you just got done gassing this man for the past 5 minutes just to say that he would get knocked out by Artur Beterbiev.
Yeah. And I'm not even the biggest Artur Beterbiev fan, but I think his strength would have been an issue for Roy. Later on, Roy, in his career, he got hurt, in the bigger weight classes, and I think Beterbiev would have been the first one to do it. Prime Beterbiev versus Prime Roy. I don't think he gets away with those antics and that athleticism. I think he gets clipped, and I think it potentially be the downfall of Roy Jones' career if he were to get in the ring with a prime Beterbiev.
Okay, I can't even tell you how much I disagree with you.
Okay,
right? Because we're talking about a prime Roy Jones Jr. in the ring with a guy, and this is something I felt like was going on when I was actually watching Beterbiev versus Bivol. And these two are great fighters, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But what we were watching was like this Eastern European Russian style of boxing, the Soviet Union style of boxing, which is almost like, how Muhammad Ali would talk about it. Guys kind of look like mummies and they just walking around and they real stiff, right? But somebody like Roy Jones with elite athleticism, he can move, he can punch, he's quick. I mean, the reflexes are crazy. Mm-hmm. I just don't think somebody. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, he's great. He's a great undisputed light heavyweight champ right now. There's no taking that away from him. Mm-hmm. But I just do not believe that he can handle a prime Roy Jones Jr. and everything that comes with, right? That the angles, the speed, the power. I mean, I just don't see Beterbiev doing anything with that. Like, you can't just walk down a prime Roy Jones Jr. like Beterbiev has been doing.
You can't. Yeah, but I think Beterbiev lands his shot, and I think it shows up on Roy Jones. Just because of, later on in his career, how many times he ended up getting hurt. You know, he ended up
later on. But we're talking about a prime Roy Jones.
It would have started with Beterbiev. Beterbiev would have clipped him, and you know, all that showboating would have went away, and Roy would have got real serious when Beterbiev lands that power punch, because he would have been trying to keep himself alive and off the canvas.
If he lands it, if he gets close enough, right, and in position enough to land it, I just don't see that will be the case with a prime Roy Jones. Now we're thinking about the Roy Jones now who's still fighting, or maybe the Roy Jones that lost to Antonio Tarver, or the Roy Jones who fought Felix Trinidad, and these types of guys later on in his career. But I'm talking about Roy. I'm talking about the Roy that beat James Toney, the Roy that was in there with B-Hop. I'm talking about the young Roy Jones Jr.
He would have had to have been perfect all 12 rounds. And I think the moment he showboated, the moment he got too excited, the moment he got too comfortable, I think Beterbiev would have smelled blood. And I think he would have been able to land his shot. I don't even like the way Beterbiev fights, to be honest. But I can see that it's strong and it's extremely effective. And not even to say Beterbiev is a legend, he's super great. I just think once he lands on Roy Jones, it's a problem for him.
Well, I'm sorry, I got to disagree. I think Roy Jones sends Artur Beterbiev back to the Soviet Union on a gurney.
And I wish Bivol would did his thing, so we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But nevertheless, shout out Beterbiev. He got the dub. It's debatable. What do you think about that matchup? You know, did he win? Did he lose? Was it a robbery? Was it just simply a close fight and they need to run it back? This is a really good discussion. Go ahead, leave your thoughts, comments, ideas. Let's argue about it. I'll respond. We'll talk some shit. I'll even hate on you if I have to. We already talked about it. I'm a known hater, and I'm comfortable hating on anybody in the comment section. With that being said, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. Sit down with your pets, your fishes, your cats, your dogs. Make sure you stream this episode. It will be live and available worldwide. We are the Unprofessional Experts Podcast. I am JMC. That's Davo. Until next time.
We're firemen. We are firemen. The heat doesn't bother us. We live in the heat. We train in the heat. It tells us that we're ready. We're at home. We're where we're supposed to be. We control the place. We control it.
This fight, I wasn't going to fight. I dedicated this fight to him. I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.